If you are planning your first Camino, it is only natural that you might be anxious about things and a bit nervous. And so this week we are going to be talking to a first-time pilgrim. Jill, welcome.
Thank you.
Going on your very first Camino in April. That's fantastic. And we're going to hear about your plans coming right up. So, Jill, you've got your very first Camino coming up in April. Are you excited?
I'm excited and a little scared.
Yeah, I think I think that's natural. Everyone's a little bit nervous. What are you worried about? Come on, there'll be lots of other first-time pilgrims watching this. Share your
Uh,
concerns.
yeah, I think probably a lot of us are afraid of what going over the Pyrenees from Saint
Hmm.
Jean is really going to look like because, I've read everything from, don't worry about it, it's not that big of a deal to, oh my goodness, I thought I was going to die. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
uh, width in between there. So that's a little worrisome. And the
Mm.
weather, I guess a little bit, but it's also one of my points that I'm really looking forward to. Of all
Mm.
the books that I've read, I would love to see the griffon vultures
Yeah.
that fly around up there and just the vistas.
That,
I love scenery.
that is such a common concern, and I know exactly what you mean. There are those people who seem to be like mountain goats who say, "Oh, I walked the whole thing in 4 hours," and yet there are others who say, "I almost
Will be
expired in
me.
the first 2 hours." Um, I think the thing I would say, the first couple of hours is a bit of a shock. It's very steep, but then it
Mm.
gets better, and just go really slow, and you'll be fine. And of course, there are options. You don't have to go over the Pyrenees all in one day. You can stop at Horizon.
Yes.
There's a wonderful service called, if I can pronounce it correctly, Express Buricot, which they call the mountain shuttle. So you can
Okay.
say, hey, pick us up at Horizon or the Statue of the Virgin, and they'll bring you back down to Saint Jean, and then they'll take you up the next day. So
Oh, there you go.
there's all sorts of ways of kind of breaking up that first day. I have never walked that first day in one go. I always break it
Yeah,
up.
I too am going to stay at Horizon.
Mm,
Number one, it's been an iconic image,
mm.
so you kind of have to, I think, a little
I
bit.
can remember the last Camino I walked. My wife Pat came with me, and it was quite amusing watching her face. Don't be concerned, but as you walk out of Saint Jean, a beautiful village, and you come up the sort of main street there, I think Rue de Espagne or something, and then just as you leave the village, the road rises in front of you, and she went, "Oh no!"
I think I'm going to have that same look on my face, I suspect.
I said, "Sweetheart, don't worry. After a couple of hundred meters, it goes flat again."
Right when you're about ready to expire, as you said, it gets
Now the
better.
steep bit is a bit later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people often worry about that first day. What else is in the back of your mind?
I mean, certainly COVID and
Mm,
the albergues and, what protocols involved. And I'm triple vaxxed and I'm bringing some rapid tests with me. So,
mm,
I feel pretty good about going, but you are going to another country and I don't speak Spanish. And
mm,
so, that is a little bit of a consideration, but not nearly like it was last year.
mm.
It's just we're all more educated,
Yeah.
hopefully, and protocols have been put into place. Besides that, the language doesn't really bother me. I'm fine with not knowing what I'm saying or, or trying to figure out what they're saying. I've got the key words like where's the bathroom and some of the
Yeah.
important pieces, but no, the rest of it is just, I think I'm more worried about my husband and my animals at home than anything that I'm going
Mm.
to run into.
Yeah, that's interesting. I barely spoke a word of Spanish the first time I went, and you pick up key phrases,
Sure.
and you learn to ask where's the ATM and where's the bathroom, like you say. But
Hmm.
so that's quite a bit of fun. On the Camino Francis, a lot of people do speak English, but you'll find some who
Right.
don't,
Hmm.
and Google Translate's always handy.
I was going to say, and then there's an app for that.
That's right. Like I remember staying in one little Casa Rural, which is like a bed and breakfast, and I sort of I mean, it was a funny place. It was all chintzy and very, very feminine. And the lady showed me to this lovely room with lots of lace and everything, and she was babbling away, and I wasn't sure what it was. And so I put Google Translate up and got her to talk into it, and she was saying, dinner's at 7. Ah!
All that for that.
Yeah, that's it. So we managed. Yeah, oh, that's awesome. And so, language doesn't need to be a problem, I don't think. And as people have been looking after pilgrims forever along that trail, so they're used to it. What else is going through the back of your mind? You're wondering what might happen.
Again, it's not so much the actual Camino, but I'm not a good flyer, and so I am an American citizen, but I live in Hawaii, so I'm way out in the middle of the Pacific, so I have a little bit of hopping to do, and I do not like to fly, and so probably in some ways that's the worst. Once I get there, there'll be a huge weight off my shoulder just having landed the plane.
Hopefully the nervous energy and excitement will get you there. Actually, it's interesting you're saying you worry, about your husband and pets and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people say try to totally unplug when you walk the Camino. I can't do that because, I'm the same as you. I have a partner at home and stuff happening. And
right.
I think what can help sometimes is just to have like a little bit of a check-in routine, whether it's every day or every second day, and just so that you can have that brief contact and, hey, I'm alive, having fun.
Yes, exactly. My husband's prepared to know that we're not going to have long chats. It's more like, yes, I'm well. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Kind of thing.
If I quite funny, on my first Camino, I put up a blog so that I didn't have to kind of relay to family, where I was and what I was doing. And it got to the point where I was almost being stalked. And people at work were going, "Oh, that's really interesting. I see you're at Los Arcos." It was like, "Oh," and it was quite nice in a way because my brother lives in Europe and he was sort of tracking my progress, and he said, "Hey, how about I come over and meet you in such and such a place?" So, but interesting. It's a question, I think, of balance, of trying to give yourself space and time and not get too involved with those back home.
I read, the first book that I read was Grandma's on the Camino, and it was a great book that she wrote, Mary wrote in 3 sections, and she wrote, one of the sections each night that she wrote was postcards to her grandkids. And I really liked that idea. And that way you don't have to talk to anybody, but you can, let them know that. And so they got a postcard every day. And I thought, well, that's cool. On the flip side, they'll be reminded that Grandma's off doing something awesome and that they get to do all that when they grow up too.
That's nice. Yeah. I can't remember seeing many post offices though.
Well, no.
in the major towns, you can save them all up.
I may have to,
that's a lovely idea. So on the flip side, I mean, you mentioned a couple of things that makes you nervous. What do you, and this is dangerous ground, but what are you really hoping for on your Camino? It's not good to have overly sort of ambitious expectations, but you're going for a reason. What do you hope to gain from it?
I think, this is an odd one. I'd like to find the voice of my mother who passed, and I don't mean necessarily hearing voices kind of thing, but just reconnecting with her and having that lots of space to have internal conversations. And I'm one of those people that had an argument before somebody passed away, and so a lot of stuff to work through in my head, and I think that's one of the things that I hope to come out on the other side, having those internal conversations with her and having that cleaned up a little bit. But just really I really just want to absorb what doors open. What do I get? It's a little bit like Christmas. Everybody gets something different out of it. So
life is like a box of chocolates.
yeah, exactly. That's so true.
Yeah. No, that's a great attitude. And, that resonates so much. I won't sort of go off at too much of a tangent, but I was in a similar position and connected on so many levels with so many different people, past and present, and Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
amazing experience. And I really hope that happens for you. I'm sure it will.
Some version of that. Yes. I think
Yeah,
something will happen.
absolutely. The challenge that you can have sometimes is getting that alone time. And what you might find is that you've got a few too many people around you for that
Mm,
sort of contemplation. Just a quick tip. Sometimes you can find yourself in a little bit of a wave of pilgrims. I mean, it's not like being at the shopping mall, but
right.
it's nice sometimes where there aren't any other pilgrims in sight, And if you find you're in a little bit of a huddle, there's things like start later than other people, or stay in some of the smaller villages, not the main sort of
Hmm.
not the main popular stopping points and things like that. But by
And
doing
that is
that, you can,
actually kind of my plan.
yeah,
My plan is just that last piece that you said is kind
hmm,
of going swimming upstream, if you will, a little bit.
yeah,
And
that's a
yeah,
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, and that interaction with other pilgrims, I think, is amazing and a very unique part of the experience. But you need alone time as well.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm taking my mom's ashes with me, so
Oh
we'll
wow.
have moments of chatting as I sprinkle a little bit here and there. One of the things I want to see is I understand there's lots of poppies in the
Mm,
spring, and so I'm hoping to see those. And she really, really enjoyed
yeah.
wildflowers, so we'll have a little chat there.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to have such an amazing time. Um, yeah, it's funny. I often say to people who are not even sort of that spiritual or religious, it becomes a very spiritual journey. I think it's hard not for it to be.
Right.
You're walking 1,000-year-old Christian pilgrimage route, and there's all these old churches and wayside crosses, but some of the most moving moments I found were not in the churches and cathedrals and things. It was out in the countryside, on a mountaintop, just
Yeah.
taking in the beauty of the view and being alone with your thoughts. And I'm sure you'll have lots of that with the ashes of your mother.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, are you going to come and chat with us when you come back? When will that be?
I would love to. Hopefully I'll be able to share what Christmas gifts I did get on this journey,
Yeah, and I bet
or
there's
what
going to be some you
chocolates.
didn't expect.
Yeah.
That's always the way. Oh, look, it's wonderful talking to you, Jill. And I feel like I've
You as
known you
well.
quite a bit because we've kind of known each other online. And I never realized till the other day that this is your very
Before
first Camino. So I'm
it
so
is. Yep.
excited for you. You're going to have an
Thank
absolutely
you so much.
amazing time. Okay, well, thanks
Well,
for
thanks
joining
for
us.
having me.
No
Thanks for
problem.
having me.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when you come back. Bye for now.
Aloha.